Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so today on our webinar, we're going to actually talk about creating different heights for your levels and also different heights for the roof. I get a lot of questions about people asking how to add a level with, let's say, 10 feet on one side and then 8 feet on the other side. So that we're going to touch on that today. And also touch on how to increase the level of, like, how to increase your height level on the specific floor. So let's get started. All right, so one of the first things we're going to talk about is when you go to your layout step and you're starting to draw out your level. Let's go ahead and draw a basic first floor. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So let's say this is going to be our first floor. For bathroom, we have an open kitchen and dining room, living room situation. And then we have a bedroom. All right. When you have something like this, then people usually, our floor level is set at 8 feet and 2.5 inches. So that's automatic for the software. And a lot of times people are trying to increase, let's say they want to create a high ceiling in your living room. And the software, if you go click on the wall for the living room in the right panel, you notice the software won't be able to go up. It will go down, but it won't go up. And that's because right now your level is set at 8 feet and 2.5 inches. That's default for the software. But that's something that can easily be changed. So what you have to do is click outside of your plan, click on the grid, anywhere on the grid, just make sure it's not inside of the plan. And the reason that's important is because if you click anywhere inside of the plan, you're actually clicking one of the rooms. So we're not going to do that. We're going to click outside of the plan and just make sure nothing is highlighted. And then in the right panel, I want you to notice one thing. It says level, and that is specifically for the ground floor that we're on right now. If you were to click on room 1, it gives you the option for your room versus the level, right? So just keep that in mind. You have these two tabs here. Or even if you click on this wall, it'll change to wall and level. So just click outside on the grid. And when it says level, now this is where you're going to set the highest number that you want for your whatever floor that you're working on. So for right now, we're working on the ground floor. And the default, since it's 8.5 inches, I want to make one of my walls to be maybe 10 feet, or one side of the house to be 10 feet, right? So then I'm going to, let's put my height, the highest height for this level is going to be set at 10 feet. This guy went too far. Now, if you notice, when I was doing that, automatically my walls came up. Automatic. It was I didn't have to do anything. Automatically the walls came up. Now, the mistake I see a lot of people make is once they do that, then they're like, okay, well, I don't want this side of the house to have 10 feet. I want this room to be, 8 feet. So we put it down to 8 feet. But then what happens is when this room is down to 8 feet, I guess I could have just typed it in, huh? When this room is down to 8 feet, this is kind of what it looks like. And I'm sure this is not, you don't want the walls or something to look like this. And when you add a level above and you duplicate the wall, so you want to be able to add your level above and just hit yes to duplicate the exterior walls. Now you have a gap. You have this random gap, and people are wondering, like, but why didn't the walls just kind of automatically collapse down to 8 feet? And that's because each floor has a different set of walls, so you can't set the perimeter for the first floor and expect the second floor, or the ground floor and expect the first floor to be the same thing. So I'm going to delete this for now. Let's delete this level. So the way around this, how you actually want to do it, if you are creating a layout that does not need a roof. So sometimes people just need to show the basic layout of the floor, and you don't need to necessarily add the roof, or you might not even need a ceiling. This is the perfect way to do it. You'll want to click on outside of the grid, and in the right panel, you're going to change your ceiling height. But for right now, we're going to put the ceiling height back to the default. 2.5. So we're putting it back to the default. And I'm going to raise these walls because remember, originally I put them at 8 feet. So, 8 feet. Right now, this is 8 feet, 2.5. So let's increase this. You notice once I set the level, it's not going to let me go back up to 10 feet. All right. Now, this is how we actually suggest creating different wall heights in the software. Instead of increasing the wall height, and then adding a level and then reducing the wall height, which is going to create a gap, we always suggest add a level, duplicate exterior walls. Now, this is when you add this level, this side of the, this level on the first floor is going to be 8 feet, 2.5 inches. On the second floor, it's also 8 feet, 2.5 inches. So when you add both levels together, it's 16 feet and 5 inches, right? Because 2.5, 5. So now what you have is, if you look at this is a full 16 feet wall. So when you add both levels together, you add the walls from the top level and the walls from the bottom levels, you create a 16 feet wall. So instead of changing the levels below to just make it 16 feet, and then you also have to add a top floor, you want to be able to just add a level. And once you add the level, add the height for the walls on the top floor and the height for the walls on the bottom floor. Now you're creating 16 feet walls. But when you do that, people are like, but Michelle, I have 2 different floors and I cannot see my first floor. What you will then do is go back to your layout step, go up to the floor that you just created, click in the middle of that floor, and in the right panel, you're going to uncheck baseboards and ground. And the reason we're unchecking baseboard is because, let me show you, if you uncheck the ground and go back here, this is your baseboard. So you don't want that line in the middle. So you just go back and just uncheck the baseboard. Now your whole house, all of these walls are 16 feet, all of them. And the reason this wall down here is not 16 feet is because when you go to your layout step, we did not add any walls on the top floor. You see this outline, there's no walls there. But if you were to trace the same walls on that top floor, now you have every single wall in the house is 16 feet. And it's the same thing we did. Click here, uncheck ground and uncheck baseboard, because now you've created 2 extra rooms upstairs. Uncheck this, create ground and baseboards. Let's go back here. So every single wall in your house now is 16 feet and 5 inches. Does anybody have any questions for what we just did just now? Let's see. Okay, cool. No question. No, that was not. Wait. I think I lost what I was sharing. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So now, let's say you were creating a house with 16 feet walls, but then you have a garage and the garage only has 8 feet walls, right? When you go back to your layout step, let's go down to your ground floor, and we're actually going to add this attached garage off the living room, for example. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this, but for this, we're not usually, before you add the roof on the ground floor, we always suggest add a level with exterior walls specifically for the roof. That is extremely important in our software. So for this, the first example where I gave you 16 feet walls, if you were to add a roof to this specific level right now on your top floor, your walls are actually going to collapse. And since you want 16 feet walls, you're not going to do that. You're actually then going to add one more level with exterior walls for the roof, because that roof is those walls are going to collapse. So just FYI. But now we're creating a garage. So because we want 8 feet walls and we don't necessarily want our garage to have 16 feet walls. Right now it's at 8 feet. There's 2 ways you can do this. The first way is you can just go ahead, let's go to your roof step, and we can add in a roof on the garage. And I don't know if you guys saw one of my webinars a couple of weeks ago, but we talked about when the roof collapsed. And the reason you're seeing this roof collapse is because there's no level above for the walls to sit on. But what you're able to do now, see, it collapsed. Go to your roof step, click on the roof, and now you're able to increase the height to bring it back up to your 8 feet, 2.5 inches wall. So now you have this attached garage that has shorter walls than you do the main house. And let's go to your layout. If we were to add a roof on this section of the house, the walls are actually going to collapse as well. And that's not what we want. So we want to go ahead and add another level. You're only going to duplicate the top floor, the exterior walls. I'm sorry. You're only going to duplicate the exterior walls. And then we're going to go ahead and add a gable roof right here. Now your design has 16 feet walls, 8 feet walls here, and there's no gap, because I see that a lot. I see where people add the roof and there's a gap that goes inside of the house. And one of the reasons there's no gap, when you go down to the ground floor where we added this, I want to zoom in right here. You see that I added the roof outside of the main wall of the house, which is right here. The roof is added outside of the main wall of the house. If I were to take this roof and drag it in, oh, I guess I did it that good. It didn't collapse. Usually it'll collapse the walls, but it did not. So, but yeah, just FYI, if you ever see that you have created 2 different levels and the walls have been collapsed, it's because your roof is going into the walls, or the walls are exposed, or because the roof is going into the walls. Another thing we're going to do now is you have a section of the house that has a ceiling, or maybe like a loft area upstairs, but then another area is open, right? To create this, let's go back to your layout step. And do you see how, first we're going to collapse the roof. We're not going to get rid of it, but we're just going to collapse it because we need to work inside here. Do you see how on the top floor, all you see, there is no walls drawn out, because we did not draw it out on the top floor like we did down here. But we need this section, like maybe half of this section, to be a loft area. So what you're going to do now on your very top floor, whatever floor that you need the loft area, you're going to block off that space using hidden walls. It is creating 2 different rooms now. There's no actual physical walls, but you're creating 2 different rooms. Now you're going to click on the area that's going to have the exposed, let's say an exposed mezzanine, where you're going to have the stairs going up. And for our example, we're going to do room 1. It's only showing room 1 because it's room 1 on the very top floor where the roof is, right? So for this, let's change this whole level actually to roof level. You're going to click on room 1, and the same thing that we did to expose those tall ceilings before is uncheck by baseboard, uncheck the ground. So now once you do this, you have this open space where you still have your tall ceilings, you still have the tall walls, and one side of the house, you can say maybe it has vaulted ceilings on that side of the house, and then the other side still has flat ceilings. So I'm gonna go into the bedroom. Let me go downstairs. Go into the bedroom. And if you look up, it's hard to look up. All right, you can kind of see it right here. Okay, so if you look up, now you have your flat ceilings inside of the bedrooms. There's still tall walls, but you don't necessarily have like a vaulted ceiling. You just have tall walls with a flat ceiling. But in the living room, when you add the roof back on in the living room, I'm going to change my camera view, my type of camera. And actually, we're going to go down to the ground floor. So right here in your ground floor, remember now, we only have the roof we only removed the ground for the very, very top floor. We didn't move it for the floor in the middle. So you won't be able to see that vaulted ceiling on the ground floor. But if you go back to your layout step and you click where it says room 1, we're going to remove the ceiling from the very ground floor. On the top floor, we're going to separate because we're creating the vaulted look. And you're going to remove the ceiling for here. And now you have this exposed I made it to, there you go. Now you have this loft area looking directly from downstairs. So you can go in and let's say we're going to add in stairs. And we're going to add the stairs down to your ground floor. It's a very long loft. I just realized that, but if you do it like this, and just increase the height. And I'm going to shorten it. But I think you guys get what I'm getting at with this. So yes, so this allows you to create this loft area upstairs. This also allows you to, having these tall walls and tall ceilings, allows you to create an attic space in that roof level. So let's go back to your layout. We're going to actually put your ground floor and the baseboard. Oh, wait. We'll go up to the roof level. We're going to actually put the ground floor, the ground and the baseboard back. And we don't necessarily need this hidden wall anymore because we're not creating a loft space. We're going to delete that. This is going to serve as an attic space. So let's add an opening. So you want to go to wall openings, stairwell, click on here, and you want to add it to wherever you want that attic space to be. So let's say you want to be able to access the attic through the hallway or something. So we're going to put it right here. And you can rotate the opening. And we want the opening to be bigger. All right. So this right here, this section, this is your attic space. Let's go inside. So do you see? This is the attic space. If you need the attic space to be taller, for example, click on here and then increase the height of your roof level. The attic space goes up. If you need it shorter or you don't need such a high vaulted ceiling, just reduce your slope and the angle, and this is still your attic space. right, let's see if anyone has any questions so far. Okay, good. I guess I'm answering all the questions. No questions. Okay, I lost it again. Nope, I didn't. It's right here. All right, so the next thing I want to say, this also actually applies when you have multi-height roofs, because I get some people that says like the same thing where one side of the house has, you know, what's called thing, very tall roof, and then there's a huge slope on the other side. With that example, actually, we're going to delete this gable roof. And this is when we have our our single slope roofs come in handy. So you can create a gable with a shorter roof in the front and a taller roof in the back. So actually, we're not going to click on that. This is when you just create this single slope roof effect. It's all, anytime you add your single slope roof, a lot of times this is what it kind of looks like. But just remember, click on the edge, and in the right panel, change your bottom slope, and it corrects itself. Do the same thing, create another single slope roof. And let's change the bottom slope. Okay. Now this kind of looks like a gable, just kind of off-putting. But what we're going to do is, let's say for our roof here, this side of the roof is shorter. This side of the gable is shorter. This one is longer. And this longer gable might be taller. But then this angle, this slope needs to be, oh, I clicked on the wrong one. The slope needs to be shorter to where now you're able to meet with the other gable. So now instead of a perfect gable, you have one where if you look at these walls, this wall is slightly higher than this wall. And I can actually bring it up, increase the height a little bit more so you can see a better example. And then you can also reduce this height. So you're going to lower this height. And then we're going to bring down the slope slightly. And then bring down this slope just so they meet. And now you have two different heights on your on the house. So that's why it's really important to be able to add a level for the roof and add a level for your walls. Because remember, now we have two floors here. We have the ground floor, which didn't have 8 feet 2.5 inches walls. The first floor has 8 feet 2.5 inches walls, so that's 16 feet and 5 inches. Those walls just on those two floors right there. Now you get up to your roof level, and the roof level, if you click on here, this height for this side is 4 feet 9 inches and a quarter. This side is 0. So this wall right here is exactly 16 feet and 5 inches. This wall, if you add the 16 feet and 5 inches, add 4 feet and 9 inches and a quarter, that's the height that you have for this specific wall right here. So this is how you're able to get multi-height ceilings, multi-height walls. And this is also, the same thing actually applies. What I want to show you guys too is if you go to your ground floor and you tell me, okay, Michelle, I need to have really tall windows, but how does my windows, how does one window go on all 4 floors? You go to all 3 floors. You go to your wall opening, and we're going to add a window. We're going to add a panoramic, rectangle, do a rectangle window. And we're adding it to your living room. And it's really small right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually adjust the width. We're going to lower the seal a little bit because we want it further down. Now, adjust the width a little bit more. And this is for people that have like really tall. This is when you want to actually increase the height as high as you want it to be. So you start from the ground floor. If you have windows like this that kind of go through, the whole floor, you start from the ground floor and you want to increase your height. I think I made it. Oh no, I didn't make it too tall. Keep going and open up the width a little bit. Now you can see, you'll be able to see from here, you see your ground floor. You see the stairs going up. Remember the attic area that we built on the very top roof level with the opening? The stairs was stopping to the loft area, but we no longer have the loft, so you can change that. And then you can actually see where there's a ceiling in the bedroom and the bathroom, but there's no ceiling in the living room. You have vaulted ceilings in the living room. So yeah. Let's see. All right, does anybody have any questions before we get off the line today? I think I kind of touched more on how to change the height of the level, how to change the height of individual walls, how to change the height of your ceiling heights, create a loft area, as well as create an attic area. And all of that matters by how many floors you add. You always want to be able to think outside of the box. If you have 10 feet tall walls, you want to be able to, and you need a roof, you have to add a level and just add the measurement for the top level walls and the bottom, and then you can get your 10 feet walls like that. If you add a roof, and since the bottom floor roof or the bottom floor walls are 8 feet 2.5 inches, once you add the level for the roof, all you have to do is lower the height, and all you need is about another 2 inches on the height of the roof level, and there you go. You got your 8 inches in each walls. Okay. If you have any questions, you can send us an email at support@cedreo.com. I'll be happy to answer. Most of the times you're going to be talking to me. If you are a pro or enterprise user and you would like to have a one-on-one with me to kind of ask a little bit more questions or go in depth about this topic or anything else, also shoot me an email at support@cedreo.com and I'll send you my calendar link to schedule a one-on-one. Thank you. You guys have a good day.